Yep. Good evening, everyone. So last session we learned about how to handle routing. So routing in React, we discussed about how to use browser router, routes, route, and link. These are the components we learned. So what is the library React router DOM? That is the library. So we created an application and in that application we are implementing routing. Application starts with app and it have all the routing process configured here. So we created browser router and in that routes and the route path. Now while working with routes, another important we need to know. So we need to understand about route parameters. Today we will see how to use route parameters. How we can manage route parameters. Actually, what is the concept of route parameter is route parameter allows to query any content directly from URL, from the address bar. Generally, for example, you learned fake store. We have HTTPS fake store API.com. What is it? Yeah. Okay. So we have HTTPS fake store API.com/products. What it is going to do is it is going to display all products. Some 20 products are there. It is going to show all of them. So it is an array. But out of them, we want only one product based on its ID. Product 1, product 2, product 3, we want only one product. So now how to query? That means how you can query that one. Actually, earlier, we need to depend on lot of query string. Querying any content directly from URL. So requires query string. Earlier, how you define question mark? We say ID is equal to 1. That's how we need to define the query. So multiple queries also we can do. For example, I want the product that belongs to electronics and whose rating is 4.5 something. Then what we do is HTTPS fake store API.com/products, just rough syntax. Category. Category is what? Category is electronics. Another query is we need to use an ampersand. Ampersand is nothing but end, right? And you can add one more query here. You can add one more query. What is that query? Rating. Rating is what? Rating is equal to some 4.5. Actually, this is an ampersand symbol actually here. We can have an ampersand. So multiple queries are defined in this way. Now we can avoid this instead of writing and passing the data like this, we can make it more simple. How we can make it simple is https colon double slash fake store api.com/products slash one. That means earlier we need to pass a key and a value, but now we just pass a value. And earlier we need question mark key name equal to value name, but now just slash value. So we want electronics. We will directly pass electronics in that 4.5. It is going to get only there. So now querying becomes easy. We can easily query any content directly from URL. So earlier we need to depend, even now, along with this, we can use query string rules. You will see both of them. But the best way to query is by using route parameters. So what is alternative? I will show you. Generally, route parameters are nothing but the route is used to access any specific resource. A route is used to access any specific resource. A route parameter allows to query any content. Inside the resource. We can query any content inside the resource. We can access and query any content inside the resource. A route parameter allows to query any content inside the resource. So route and route parameter. So how to define route parameter, how to access the route parameter, we will see. One example, we will see how to do that. That means how to handle the route parameters. So React application can configure a route parameter, inside route path. We generally write like this. We have route have a path. In that we have the path name and slash colon and the parameter 1. Again slash colon the parameter 2. We can write multiple parameters like this. Element is which element we know. That. The parameters can be defined like this. We can add multiple parameters like that. We can configure one multiple. So React application can configure the route parameter inside route path like this. So they are configured with slash colon. And how to pass value into those parameters? That means we need to pass value into the parameters. So the values passed are passed. The values are passed. So the values are passed using slash as delimiter. Delimiter is separator, using slash as separator in URL. The values are passed using slash as delimiter in URL. That means how do we do? So HTTP colon double slash local host 3000, that is some products, something like this. We have value 1 and value 2. Means how many parameters it is expecting, those number of parameters. Actually, this products is nothing but the route name you given a route name. Into that name, we pass the value 1, value 2 like this. That means this value 1 is stored in this param 1 reference. Value 2 will be inside this param 2 reference. So we have value 1 and value 2. They are stored inside those references. Okay. So the values are passed using this. Now the question is how to collect them. Whatever values they pass, we have to collect them and use. And important, every parameter is a required parameter. That means you cannot skip, you cannot ignore the parameter. Every parameter is required and every parameter is having order dependency. For example, I don't have value for parameter 1. Then you cannot say that I will pass only value 2. Even you pass value 2, this will be stored inside this one. It will be stored inside that. If you don't have a value to pass, then what you can do, you can call it as what? Undefined. And you can do this. That means the first parameter is undefined and second parameter is defined. That means every parameter is mandatory. Every parameter is mandatory. So every route parameter is mandatory. Every route parameter is mandatory. And important and have order dependency. Every route parameter is mandatory and have order dependency. So how to configure the route parameters, how to pass values, now how to access, how you can access the route parameters. So you can access the route parameters by using, you can access the route parameters by using use params hook. You can access route parameters by using use params hook. It returns a parameter object with a key and value. That means empty some params is equal to use params. What use params will do, it will access the parameters from the route and it will store. That means what params contain? Params is an object which will contain parameter 1 with value 1. It will have parameter and value. We have the route parameters defined. The param 1 and param 2. So three basic steps are present. How to define the parameter, how to pass value into the parameter, and how to access, how we can access. So you know that params dot param 1, it will return value 1. Params dot param 2, it will return value 2. So first we will see how this works. That means how to define parameters, how to access the parameters and use them. Later we will implement in an example. We will first see what it is, how it works. So I am expecting here a component. Let's add a component. I will go to the components and add a component called details. Okay. And details.jsx. So except function details is a component and return just the markup. So class class container, yeah, container fluid. Okay. And here we will just access details. Fine. I want to access these details in app.js. We will mention route for that. That means here I am defining route and route path. Route path is details and element. Which element? Element is details element. We will access the details element and we will use it. So it is there. Now what we need to do in our path slash above, I am configuring slash what details. Details is going to get the details and display. But this details is expecting some parameters. So I will simply put here details slash colon ID slash colon name slash colon price. So it is expecting 3 parameters. And if it is expecting the parameters and you are not saying, then it will show invalid. Invalid means it will say not found. If not found, then it will go here now. Last session we designed that. So what will happen? It will say looking for something unable to find. Why? Because details is not accessible directly. It is expecting parameters and every parameter is compulsory. How to pass the parameter slash 101? That is first parameter. Enter, it's still not working because it is expecting 3 parameters. You need to pass 3. Name is mobile slash some price is price and enter. Now it is okay. If any parameter is missing, then it is unable to get your path. In the route, how many parameters you define, those all parameters you need to configure with values. All values are compulsory. Now important, how to collect them and use them here. Whatever the values they pass, we have to collect them and use them. That means what Amazon and all these people are doing in Amazon. In the URL, I will enter slash watches. Then what they are doing, collecting that parameter and displaying us watches related data. They are displaying the watches related data means what they are collecting and showing those details. That means how to collect the parameter now. How you can access the parameter in details and use those parameters here. How to collect the parameters? Go to details. Here you need a hook. What is it? let params is equal to use what params. What use params hook is going to do? It is going to collect all the parameters. Now what is this params type? Is it a string or a number or a boolean or an array? Object. It is an object type. That means it will contain what keys? These are considered as keys. That are considered as keys. It is having ID, name, price as keys. And we can access them and use them. Here I will put a list. So product ID. How to access it? Here I can access params.id. So these are capitalization issues. Everything matters. Another one is what? Price. So price is params. Params dot what? Price. We have another one. What is it? So we are having name, and the name is params. Params dot what? Name. And you can see it is going to access and show them here. That means you are passing only details. You are not passing the parameters. It is not found. Now details is expecting some values. What is that? Slash some two slash some television. So some Samsung TV slash some price, and it is going to get that and show. It is going to access and use them. So how to configure the parameter, how to pass value into parameter, and how to collect the parameters. These are the three basic things you need to understand. Now let's implement in an example. That means we will implement in one example. What is that example is nothing but what we want here is in this design. Let's go to the design here. I will give these all links. Font size is 5. Okay, now in this design 6. Okay, in this design, I want to add a category called shop. And what that shop category have to do is it should get the list of all products you are having. That means all categories you are having. That means what I will do, I want a home is there. When I click on home, here I want the list of all categories. Means how many categories are there. I want to display all the categories. Electronics, footwear, fashion, all these categories must be there, right? So what we need is in the home page, want to display all the categories, and categories should come from our fake store API. From fake store API, we will get the categories. So let's do another design now. I'm not using this app.js. This is just to make you understand a simple process of how you make requests and how to access, right? Let's create a separate environment now. So in this SRC folder, I'm creating a new folder called some shopping. This is like fake store. Okay. Fake store, I created a separate folder, right? In this fake store folder, what I will do is we will create a new file, fake store index dot .jsx. We want a fake store index page. That means here we will create export function fake store index. Okay. It should return a simple div, and in the div we have class name container fluid, and here we have a header. In the header we are giving simple heading as fake store just. So I will put class bg dark, text white, text center. Okay, adding 1. Fine. Now we will make this fake store index in the startup. We will keep that in the startup. So in index.js, our application will start with fake store index. It will start with fake store index, and it is starting with that fake store index. So now whenever we start fake store, it should start a fake store home. In that fake store home, it should display all the categories. So what I will do is now here I will create another one. This is fake store home dot .jsx. Export function fake store home. fake store index and fake store home. Fake store home, it is nothing but, so this is fake store home page. Okay. And I want this fake store home to access. So in the index, we need to configure the routes. How to configure the routes? We need to import, what is it? Browser router from React DOM. And we need to import routes and route. One more is link. We need these three, these four: browser router, routes, route link, route and link. Okay, now I need to configure everything inside which scope? Browser router. In the browser router, we are having a header. Okay. Below this header, we will put a section. Okay, inside the section, here we want to display all the routes. What is the first route? We are defining route. We have to define routes. Routes is a collection. Routes collection is having a route, right? What is the first route path? First route path is slash. Slash indicates if user is not requesting anything, by default, which one have to come? Which one have to come? Element. Which element? Which element it should access? It should access fake store home. It should access fake store home. That means if user is not requesting anything, by default, if user is not requesting anything, it should access the fake store home. Now what I want to do in this fake store home, I want to display all the fake store categories. They have some categories. We want to display all those categories. So let's go to fake store home. How to get all the categories and display? The basic logic we know. We will create a constant what? Categories and set categories, and we will use state. It is an array, and we will access that on use effect. That means at the time of mounting, what we will do here, we will define, what is it? Axios dot get from https fake store api.com slash what products slash categories dot then we have to collect all the response, and this response we need to set categories response dot what data. Okay, we are accessing all the categories and displaying. I want to display the categories here. That means we will create a simple unordered list class as list unstyled, and inside this we need to generate a list item for every category. So we will use categories dot what map. We need every category. For every category we need a list item, and here we want to display key is category and the value also category. And category have a name. That means what I will do, the category means I will keep it into uppercase. That will convert that category name into uppercase. It is going to get all the categories and show. It is going to display all the categories and show. Now what we need to do here is, in this, I need to make these clickable. That means I want electronics, jewelry, men's clothing, women's clothing clickable. And when I click, that category related products must load. That means I want this clickable. When user clicks on electronics, it should load a component called products. In that products, only electronics must come. When user clicks on jewelry, it will load these products. Into that products, jewelry will be passed. That means we need products and the category name will be changing. Which one you clicked, that category related products must come. That means first I need to make them clickable. On click, they have to navigate to a component called products. Right? First I need to make them clickable. On click, they should navigate to products. That means there must be some products component. Okay, let's do that first. So we need a component here. And what is the component? So fake store products dot what JSX. We are creating export function fake store products and return. It will return a simple heading and I will keep as products. Now what it should do is it should display when user clicks on those links. So we need a route for this now. Go to index. Here we need to add one more route. What is the route we are expecting? Route path is what? Products. Route path is products. I will use a uniform representation. Okay. So route path is products. If route path is products, which element it should access? It should access fake store products element. It should access fake store products. That means whenever you access products, this will get the fake store products. Okay, let's see in the home page how to make them clickable. I want to make this clickable. Then we will enclose in a link tag. And what this link tag is having, it should link to where? It should link to products. Here, one important concept is that. What is the concept is actually in many interviews also this question is very popular. The frequently asked question in interviews is what is difference between absolute and relative path? What is difference between absolute and relative path? So what is absolute path and what is relative path? In web technologies, this is a very common question. What is an absolute path and what is an relative path? Actually, in general, HTML also you might have learned about this, but you haven't learned the technical terms, but you know the concept. In HTML also, generally we have that concept. So what is absolute and what is relative path? What is difference between that is? For example, I will show you a HTML concept. Means in general HTML, suppose we have a HTML page. In this HTML page, what we have is some paragraphs. Some paragraphs information is present. Lot of paragraphs information is present in this HTML page. And somewhere we have a heading called fashion. And this heading is having an ID called fashion. Now, when you are accessing, you can see currently you are accessing a page called demo. In demo page, there is a topic called fashion. So fashion is relative to this page only. In another page, we don't have that. Fashion is only in this page. So how to access it is in the address bar, we can use hash fashion. In the address bar, you can access, you know that in HTML intra-document navigation, right? So when you hit that, it will get the fashion and show. Now the point is, this fashion is a relative path. This is a relative path. It is relative to whom? It is relative to them. It is relative to demo. That means it is not independent. For example, if I directly try to access hash fashion, because there is no fashion, there is no fashion concept individually. It is present in which page? Demo.html. So you have to access with relative to demo.html. What is absolute? Absolute is individual and relative is with regard to that particular path, with regard to that particular relative. That means now what is this demo.html? Demo.html is an absolute path. We can get demo. Demo.html is an absolute path. In demo.html, you can access some fashion. This is relative path. That means what is the difference here is absolute path is an individual path which navigates to particular resource. Relative path is a path associated with its parent. It's associated with its parent, which can access any content inside the parent. Inside the parent, if you want to access anything, then you need a relative path. That means what is the difference here? Absolute refers to a resource directly, refers to a resource on server. Absolute path refers to a resource on server. It refers to a resource on server. And the relative path refers to any specific content inside resource. Any specific content inside a resource, or any specific location inside that resource. Any specific content inside the resource. Here, mentioning about absolute and relative path is very important. For example, I will show the concept how you do that. Actually, http://localhost and 3000 slash we have products. We have suppose some products. Okay. Now what is happening here? We are configuring a link. In the link, it should link to, suppose it should link to electronics. Like this we are writing. Now actually this is referred as relative path. How it is relative path? Relative path is nothing but, now do you know what will happen when you click this link? When you click this link, this will be added to existing path. It will be added to existing path. That means this electronics is relative to some products. It is relative to products. That means it will be added into products. That means what it is doing now, http://localhost and 3000 slash what? Products slash, it will become what? Electronics. It will become electronics. This is relative path. Suppose I am accessing link to and slash home. Now what will happen? http:// what it is? Localhost 3000. Already there is products. In that products, home will be added. That's not good. That is not good because home is not relative to products. It is directly home. Am I right? We have directly home. It is not relative to products. But every path, if you mention like this, it will be relative. It will be relative. Then how you can make it as absolute path? You have to use link to slash home. This is how we write. This is what? This is absolute. This is absolute. That means what it will do now? HTTP colon localhost 3000. Already whatever path is there, it will clean up and it will put slash home. This is correct. So how to write a relative path and how to write an absolute? You will learn both of them. Absolute is written when you want to go to directly that particular location by removing existing path. You want to set a new path, then you use absolute. Relative path means already there is a path, but you are adding one more. That means usually we child, parent, child. Later you will learn about child routes. You will see that parent and child hierarchy. We can use parent-child hierarchy. So what is the point? How to write an absolute path? How to write an relative path? So that is the reason here what I am doing is I am writing the path like this now. How I am writing the path? Link to, it should link to where? It should link to, it should link to a path called, it should link to products. It should link to products. It should be individual, separately products. Then what we have to do? Here we need to configure slash what? Products. We can give directly. Directly if you give, it will be relative. It should be slash products. Directly products. You need to access that individually. Okay, now see what happens. All these links are clickable. You can see electronics, jewelry, men's, everything is clickable. And when I click on that, it will go to the products and show the products. From products, I want to get back to home, get back to home. So what we have to do here in the products, where is the products? Yeah, here I will put a simple div. I will put a link again. This link, so back to, what is it? Back to home, suppose. Then how it should link to? Link to, you know that it is slash. Because slash is referring to the home, it will link to home. That means you say back to home, it will get back to home. That means I am clicking on men's clothing, it should get the products, and here it will get back to home. That means you are navigating from one component to another. You are loading the component. Now important is when I click jewelry in the products, only jewelry products must come. Then how the products knows which one you selected? Products is a separate component. How that product component knows which one you selected in previous. So that means we need to transport data by using route parameter. By using route parameter, we need to transport. That means here what products is expecting. What this, here in index, products is expecting slash colon category. That means it is expecting category name. So whenever you access products, you need to send the category name. Now it will show you empty, undefined. Now suppose I am giving a route. What is that route? Route path is asterisk. And what is the element? Element we will just put a heading as what? Not found. I just give a message not found roughly, and we will put a class text danger. Okay. Now what happens is when I click on this, it will simply say not found. Why it will say not found? It is going to show not found because it is expecting parameter. You have to pass the parameter. So products is expecting parameter. So you need to pass the parameter. So when user clicks, let's go to the products. So here home. When user clicks on this category, you need to pass the category name. That products is expecting category name. You have to pass the category name. Category name, you can bring it from here now. which category, the category name we can pass it from here, but it is not possible like this. We will use a backtick. Here you can pass the category name. It needs a binding expression now, right? And it needs a category name slash category name. How to get the category name? Dollar. And what is it? Category name. We have to get the category name. That means now what happens when user clicks jewelry? Now it will come. And you see it is passing jewelry. You go back, that means it will go back electronics, it is passing electronics. That means now you go back home, the woman's clothing, it is passing that woman's clothing. That means products component is having a parameter called category. Now what I should do in this products component? I should select this parameter and I should display only the products that belong to that particular category. Am I right? I need to access and display only that belongs to that particular category. These links, anyway you can set. Actually, I'm giving a class name. What is that class name? BTN, BTN dark. So W25, MY2, and you can see that it is going to display these like a menu. Now when user clicks on jewelry, it should navigate to products, and in that products I should get only jewelry products. I should get only jewelry products. Okay, so what we have to do in products component, we have to collect this parameter, right? So let's go to the products page. This is products. Here, how you will collect the parameter? By using what? Use what? Params. Use params can access the parameter. It can access that particular parameter. Okay. You know parameter key is category, because parameter name you given as category na? That is category. Okay. So how to filter and display only products that belong to that category? We know what we will do. We will create a constant. What is it? Products. What it is? Set products. Use state. Array of object, and every product have an ID. Every product have a title. Every product have an image. Every product have price. Every product have description, and every product is having category, and every product is having rating. Rating is an object. Rating is an object. Every product is having what? So every product is having rate. Rating has rate, and it is having count. So this is all the data we are having. That's how we are configuring. Something is missing as an object. Finally, everything is an object. This is what we are doing. Now, how to access all the products that belong to category? That means what we will use? Use effect. That means at the time of mounting, what we have to do? At the time of mounting, we need to load all the products that belong to the category user selected. That category name we can bring from route parameters. So Axios dot what? Get https://peakstoreapi.com/what? products/category/category name. Category name is dynamically coming from params dot category that contains the category name. So dot then what we have to do? Collect the response, and response data you need to set into products. That means now this time the data is only about the electronics or jewelry, any specific category related products. Now where to display those products? I want to display those products here. I will use a simple div. Here I will use a simple div again. This is what products dot map. We will read every product. For every product I will just create a div, and this div I will make it as a class as card, padding 2, margin 2, and I will not use much. Here I will use a style, and width is suppose 200 pixel. Okay. And in this card, we want to just display an image. I will just add an image, and the product image must display. Image source is coming from product dot what image. So image, we are just giving image class as, okay, class as card image top. Okay. This is all the products we are displaying, class B flex, and we have flex wrap. Like this we are using. All the products that belong to that category will come. And every image we will keep with a certain height as constant height as 100. That is the height for every image. Right? That, and I don't want this much lengthy, that is the short is enough. Back to categories, that means back to home. It will get back to home. I click men's clothing, it should get the men's clothing data and display. That means we back to categories and electronics, the electronic products will load. That means we are navigating from one component to another, and we are transporting the data. We are transporting the data. How we are transporting using raw parameters. And what is the specialty here? User can directly query. What we can do, I want products slash jewelry. Jewelry directly. Enter, it will get those jewelry products and show. That means you don't need to come from home. You can directly query the path. If you know the path, you can directly bookmark this path so that we can access directly that location. That means bookmarking any location inside the app so that you can directly reach it every time. That is possible if you know the correct location of that. Now you go back to home and you select anything, it will get those details and display. Now here I want one more technique. What is the technique is, every card is having a div. Okay. And this div is having a class card header. Okay. And in this we have a button. Actually it is not button. Later we will make it button. We will create a link. And what is that link is, it is having like class name, BTN, some warning, and BI, and we will put as details. That means we are going to get the details like this. That means we want the details here. That means here, what is the concept now? Width is limited, that is the reason here. Font size is suppose 7 is the least size we are having. That is the size we are having. Okay. We'll do one thing here. Just I will remove this and keep the symbol itself, details. That means what we want is when user clicks on it, it should get the detail of that product and show. Now what should happen is when user clicks on detail, when user clicks on this, I need another component, details. The details component should get the detail of that product. That means how do you get the detail of this product? To get the detail of this product, when user clicks on it, we need a details page, fake store details page. So let's design it. We are adding another one. What is it? Fake store, which page? Details.jsx. So here we are using export function. This is fake store details. And what this fake store details is doing, so it should return here a page. This is details page. It should return the details page. And this will have a path now. In the index, we are having a route. What is the route path? Route and route path is details. Okay, which element it should render? It should render fake store details. It should render fake store details. And when this should come, when user clicks on details of that particular product, when user clicks on this link, that means we will use link to what? Details. Details will add as a relative path. Then you will have a problem. Observe carefully now. When I click on this details, already what is the path? Women's clothing. And when I click on this details, it will add that into that women's clothing. I don't want like that. What I want here is I want to remove this existing path and I want only details, because actually in your routing, observe in this routing, details is directly configured. That means details is not a child of any route. Later you will learn about how to write the relative chain path. Details is not a child, directly details. Then what we need to do? Here we need to put slash details. When you put slash details, now see what will happen when I click on details. Then it will directly get me to the details. It will get back me to the details, right? Now from details, I need to get back to the same category. From details, I need to get back to the same category. So what we have to do first now in details page, which one to display? When user clicks details of this particular product, then that product related details should come. The product related details should come. That means here I just used this symbol. I can just use a simple option like view, and it is just like view. And when user clicks on this view, then what should happen? It should get the details of that particular product. Now what we will do is into the details, that means in our index, details is expecting /:id. That means how you can access any specific product based on its ID. We can access the product based on the ID. So what should happen when user clicks details? An ID must be passed. And here we are not passing that. So slash, we need to pass the ID of current product. How to pass the ID of current product? Then again, I will put here a binding expression. In that backtick slash what? Details slash, and I need to put here product dot what? ID. That means the product ID is passed. Now see what will happen. I click on view, that particular ID will be passed. Now what we should do in details page? In details page, we should collect that ID and display that product details. That means which product user selected, that we need to do. So what we have to do in details page? Let's go to the details page. In details page, what we need to do? Collect the ID. You have to collect the ID and display the details of that particular product. So you know what to do. So let what? Params is equal to use params. And here we need use effect. And on load, what is the path we need to configure here? Axios dot what? Get from where? https://fakestore_api.com/ what? Products / the product ID. Product ID is coming from params dot what? ID dot then, and we need to store this response into some location. We need a product key. That means what we will do, we will create a state like this, but this time it is expecting only one object. So what we need to do, constant, we are expecting a product, and what? Set product is equal to use state, every product is an object. Every product is an object with ID, title, and all. So we are using set product response dot what data, and that product data should be displayed here. So I will use a data list data term. Here we will display the product dot what title. Actually, this is what title. And data definition, this is product title. Another one is price. Here we want to display the product price. So product price, the product dot what price. And above I want an image. So SRC is coming from product dot what image. So width is something like 200. Okay. That is the image. Slash, this is the class. Instead of class, I will just keep a style and width as some. This is 200. 200 is very short because it is lengthy. Titles will be present. Okay, this is enough. Just giving the details of that particular product here. I will keep the height. So height as suppose 200, and that is the width and height of that product. And from here, I need another option. I need a link. What this link have to do? Back to categories. And it should navigate to which path? We have a path called slash. Actually, it is not back to categories. It is back to what? Products. Back to products. It should navigate to which one? Products. But products is expecting category name. You have to pass the current category name. So we will use a binding expression here. And what? Slash products slash category name. Category name will come from product dot category. So back to products. We are having back to products. This is back to products. Okay. Now you can see this is back to products. I will click on back to products. It will get back to the products. I click on view. Then it will get the detail of that. Back to products. It will get back to products. Back to home. It will go here. I click on jewelry. That means only jewelry products will come. And I click on view, the detail of that product will come. And you click back, then it will get back to the products. You can get the detail of any product and display. This is navigating from one location to another. That means this is navigating through parameters. That means we are configuring some parameters. How do you configure the route parameters? You can configure the route parameters in this way. That means 3 points are there. Writing the parameter, passing value into the parameter, collecting the value, and accessing and using the value. Right? So this is route parameters, configuring route. And important in this navigation, what is the concept? User stays in one place and gets everything there. That means currently you are accessing only one component in the high level, that is index. In index, you are accessing products, home, details, everything is coming here. We will add more logic to this, that means more concept to this. Actually, details, it will get the detail of that particular product. But we have so many techniques here, we will understand. What is another point is, when user clicks on view, it should come here only. That means we should not navigate to another component. We want that inside the same. That means currently we are in products component. In the products component itself, the details component should come. That means child. That means how you can access that here itself and display. That is what parent and child hierarchy. That means details is currently accessed separately. But details must be accessed inside this parent and show here. We want to display that here. That means all these products I want to view just beside. When user clicks on it, some beside or below, the detail should come. That means now how you can configure child routes. We need to define the child routes. This is one concept, how you define the route, right? How do you configure the child route? So first, up to this one example we will do. That means this is nothing but from one place to another. You are navigating from one location to another, right? What is our main one? When user opens, the main home page will come, right? From home page, he will select a category. It will go to products. From there, he will click on a product. The product detail will come. This is separate, not separate. I want these details. You see now here, where is that products? Yeah. When user clicks on, this link, this details should not be absolute. It should be relative. Then how you can define a for that? That means this details route should work inside the products one. Inside the products. It's not outside. It should work inside that. Then how do you configure the routes? Generally, we call that mechanism. We call this as this is child routes. That means how do we configure the child routes? You will see parameters and all combinations here, but child routes. How do you define child routes? Remember, this is a syntax example. Syntax base, I am giving an example. We will implement in a real project now. That means in the next level, we are now starting one project. End to end, from database to front end, we will create one project. In that project, we will implement this, all the mechanism of routes and how it works. First, I am giving syntax. Once we finish routing concept, we are now going to develop a project, an end-to-end project with our own database, our own APIs. We will not use any fake store. We will create our own APIs and we will implement that. That means we will create all these with a real example with our own concepts. We will implement that. So child routes, how do we define? That means a child route refers to relative path. Child route refers to relative path. Refers to relative path. Relative is with regard to the parent. Relative is with regard to the parent path. So you can configure route to access child element, a child component within the parent. You can configure route to access the child component within the parent. That means instead of navigating out, we can bring that. So how do you configure that? Syntactically, we write like this: route path is equal to parent. And element is what? Element is what? Parent element. We have a parent element. Now, inside this, we can configure a route. This path is child. And the element is child element. Child element. You can define in that way. Like this, you can configure multiple childs. Multiple children and actually route. Yeah. This is route. Inside the route, you can configure the route. There is another option also. We can use like children path. That means we can use an attribute called children. But you can configure a route inside route like this. That means every route is a collection of child routes. Every route is a collection of child routes. We have routes. In the routes, we have route, and every route is again collection of some child routes. So let's see how you can do that. And one more point is there now. So here, how to define this now? Let's see. I will remove this here. Okay. This is products route. And you cannot end this now. You need a route end. Inside this, we need to configure the details. Understood? That means now details is a relative part of which one? Products. Details is a relative part of products. Details is a relative part of products. It is a child route. Now, what we have to do? That means this time I am not keeping it separate. Separate is absolute. We are keeping inside. That means it is relative now. It is relative. Okay, let's go to the products. Here I cannot use slash now. Slash means it will be absolute. We have to use what? Just details. Details will be relative. But now the question here is, here, see, let's go back. This is home. I click on jewelry, then jewelry products will come. And here I click on view. When I click on view, observe in products jewelry, here one more part will be added. That means you can see that is details of 7. Now the question is where to render this details component. That means in the parent only, in the parent where we have to tell the location. Suppose I want to render here. This is called outlet. That is called outlet. Outlet indicates where to render your child. You are selecting child, but where to render. Previously, what is happening? We are navigating from parent to child. But now you are what doing? You are bringing the child and rendering in parent. Where? You are not mentioning that. Where to render the child, you are not mentioning. That is decided by whom? Outlet. Outlet will decide where to render your child component. I want to render the child component somewhere right side or somewhere here. Then what you do? Better. You keep this is, this entire, I will keep in a div and we will keep this as a class as row. In this row, we will divide 2 columns, class as call4 and div, and we will put a class as call8. In the 4 columns, we will put this one. In that 4 columns, we will put this. That means we will keep this in the 4 columns. Okay. In the 8 columns, what we do? In the 8 columns, that means it is in the 4 columns, means it is here. Of course, you can reduce this because I given wrap. Wrap is going to display in multiple lines. It is going to display multiple. Depending on how many products you are having, it will display multiple. Right? And when you click on view, it should display in the right side column. That means here, you see, I click on view, it's not showing. That means here I need to display. Here I need to display. Here we have to put an what? Outlet. Outlet we have to keep. Outlet decides where to render the child. It will decide where to render the child. So back to products. You click on view, then it will get back here. That means outlet is important. When you click, it will get. Now here one problem is that when I click on view, it is not changing. Number is changing. Number is changing. Suppose I click on this one, it is changing to 15, but it is not updating here. Why? You know the reason. Component mounts how many times? Only one time. When again it should mount now? Whenever route parameter ID changes. Right? Which parameter changes? ID. In route parameter ID changes, whenever route parameter ID changes, it should mount again. Otherwise, it will mount only once. That means what we need to do here. Let's go to the products component. Yeah, here, this is the dependency na. When it should mount again. Here, details na. Details. When it should mount again, whenever the parameter ID changes, then it should mount again. So what is the dependency? Dependency is what? Params. Params dot what? ID. ID is the dependency. Now see what will happen. I click on this, it will get that and show. Otherwise, it is not going to get. That means whenever ID changes, we can bring the data and we can display the data here. Now I don't need back to products. That is for previous concept I designed that I don't need that back to products. Of course you can put it, but we don't need that back to products. Now it is just the detail. You go back home, then click on jewelry, it will get, and you click view and those details will display here. That means user can navigate to from one path to another, or he can bring that and display here. And here the key concept is outlet. So the child route is responsible for rendering a child component into the parent. So it requires an outlet. It requires an outlet to configure. It requires an outlet to configure. It requires an outlet to configure. What is the purpose of outlet? So outlet is a component that defines where the resulting markup of child is going to render. Outlet is a component that defines where the resulting markup of child is going to render. Where the resulting markup of child is going to render. That is important. Actually, now in many interviews, even this, they ask like a question like, can we have multiple outlets? Why this question is asked? Because in routing technology, many technologies that support route, they don't support multiple outlets. That is the reason the question asked, will your React supports multiple outlets? That means what I mean by multiple outlets. So here in the products, we are rendering an outlet here. That is one outlet is rendering one output. Can I have another outlet in the same? You can have multiple outlets, which is not supported in some technologies. They don't recommend and they don't support, like Angular. They don't support multiple outlets. They don't recommend multiple outlets. So, but here it is supported. You see, we have outlet, and you can see now it is rendered 2 times. It is rendered 2 times. It is possible. Why? Because suppose I signed in. When I signed in, I want my profile photo in 2 places. After signing my profile photo, I want in 2 places. One place right side corner, one place bottom. Then we need 2 outlets for rendering my data. We can have multiple outlets. We can display multiple locations also, right? So this is possible. So if anyone asks the question like, can we define multiple outlets? So answer yes, it is possible. We can define multiple outlets. So how to configure the routes, how to configure the parameters of routes, how to configure child routes. So we are learning how do we define the child, event and child hierarchy, how to define that. Right. Now, actually, you can access directly now. See what I'm doing. This is the home page. Directly I can access if I know the path. Slash what? Suppose slash what? Slash is product slash. Suppose I want to access jewelry. Jewelry slash what? The ID of jewelry. Suppose 6 or 8 or something like this. It can access directly. I think jewelry don't have ID. Huh? Actually, jewelry have what? Details. Huh? Details we have 7. Now you can access directly that. That means we can access the route directly. We can directly render that content. This is possible by using what? Route parameters. Now we have authentication of routes. That means everybody cannot access. If he is logged in, then only he can access. If not logged in, he cannot access. That means how we can prevent the routes. That means everyone cannot watch. Even he enters the path, it should go to sign in. Says please sign in and come. That means how you authenticate the routes. How we know whether he is signed in or not. How you authenticate. Actually, some technologies have ready-made authentication components. React don't have. That means some technologies have ready-made authentication of routes. But React completely depends on third-party library. We can use cookies. We can use cookies. By using cookies, we can authenticate the routes. And we need to understand how the route authentication works. And how the search parameters work. Search parameters. We have route parameters, we have search parameter. Search parameter means query string. How we can use them. That we'll see tomorrow. Right, in tomorrow's session, we will learn how to use search parameters and we will see how to use route authentication. Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay, right. And this entire example, I will upload a zip folder for these files. At the project related, this fake store folder is there. No? This folder related zip folder I will upload. All these files code will be in one zip folder in our drive link. You can get it from there. Okay, right.